This is in continuation of what we have already learned in our previous class on the consonant clusters. Now, we will concentrate on to, tho, do, dho, donto. These alphabets form the to borgo or to class. At first, we shall deal with those clusters which are formed out of the to class consonants and in which the constituent consonants have retained their original shapes. Here are some examples of such conjuncts. First, we have cluster donto noi. It is formed by doubling the consonants donto no. Both instances of donto no retain their original shapes in the cluster. We can see these constructions in Bangla word onno, which means food or rice. In Bangla word nobanno, which refers to Bengali harvest festival, point to be noted, orthographic clusters do not entail phonetic clusters. For example, onno is pronounced as on no and nobanno is pronounced as noban no. Next, we have the conjunct doi. While combining the two do, both of them keeps their original shape in the cluster. Here is an example. Bangla word roddur means sunlight. It is pronounced as roddur and spelled as royokar, doi roshokar, boishuno ro, roddur. Next is toy donten noi cluster. It is formed by combining Bangla alphabet to with donton no. Both consonants retain their original forms in the conjunct toy donten noi. Here is some example. Bangla word rotno, which means gem or jewel. Rotno is pronounced as rotno. Rotno is spelled as ro, toy noi, rotno. Finally, we have donto noi toy cluster. It is formed by combining Bangla alphabet donten no and to. Both consonants retain their original forms in the conjunct donto noi toy. We can see these constructions in word like khunti, which means a kitchen utensil. It is pronounced as khunti and it is spelled as khoi roshokar, donte noi toy roshoikar, khunti. Till now, the type of clusters we have dealt with consists of consonants in their original forms. Now onward, we will discuss those clusters which are made up of consonants belonging to the same class but fail to retain their original forms in the clusters. To start with, we have the cluster toi. In the cluster toi, it is formed by combining to with another to. The shape of the first to changes slightly, resulting in the conjunct toi. For example, consider Bangla word chitto, which means mind or soul. It is pronounced as chitto and spelled as choi roshoikar, toi chitto. Britto, which means circle. It is pronounced as britto and spelled as boirikar, toi, britto. The next cluster is thoi. To is also combined with tho to form toi cluster. Again, the first member of the cluster, that is to, undergoes modification to be part of the cluster. Consider the following examples. Ashwatho refers to a sacred tree named as people tree. It is pronounced as ashwatho and spelled as talibo shoy bofola toi. Later, we have doi cluster. In case of the combination of do and tho, the second one, that is tho, fails to retain its original shape. That's how we get our next cluster, doi dhoi. Here is a word which consists of doi dhoi cluster. Briddho means elderly or aged. It is pronounced as briddho and spelled as boy rikar doi dhoi. Buddho means Lord Buddha. It is pronounced as buddho and spelled as boy roshokar doi dhoi buddho. Next we have Dontun Noi Thoi cluster. It is formed with Dontun No and Tho. While forming the cluster Dontun Noi Thoi, both the consonants are modified. We can see this construction in words like Pantho means traveler or wayfarer. It is pronounced as Pantho and spelled as Poyakar Dontun Noi Thoi. Now we have the cluster Dontun Noi Doi. In a cluster consisting of Dontun No and Do, the former one, that is No, is modified. For example, in Bangla word Anondo means happiness. It is pronounced as A, Non, Do and spelled as A, Dontun No, Dontun Noi Doi, Anondo. The final cluster we have from this Borgo is Dontun Noi Dhoi. When Dontun No forms the cluster with Tho, both of them gets modified. Here is an example. Bangla word Ondho means blind. It is pronounced as On Dho and spelled as O Noi Dhoi, Ondho. Now we will discuss those clusters which belongs to Po Borgo or Po class. That means Po, Fo, Bo, Bho, Mo. First, we will discuss all those clusters in which constituents that do not retain their original forms. The first cluster we have here is Moi Moi. When Mo forms a cluster with itself, both the Mo fails to retain its original form in Moi Moi construction. For example, Shomman, which means respect, it is pronounced as Shomman and spelled as Dontasha, Moi Moi Akar, Dontun No. The next cluster is Moi Poi. In a cluster of Moi Poi, the first one, that is Mo, fails to retain its original shape. Kompon means vibration or tremor. It is pronounced as Kompon and spelled as Ko, Moi Poi, No. Similar effects can also be noticed in case of Moi Phoi, Moi Boy and Moi Bhoi. Mo combines with Pho to create Moi Phoi. The Mo changes slightly to blend with Pho, forming Moi Phoi. For example, Lomfo, which means jump, and it is pronounced as Lom-Pho, Moi Boy. Next we have this conjunct where nasal Mo combines with voiced Bo. The Mo changes slightly in shape to form Moi Boy. For example, Lomba, which means long or tall. Lomba is pronounced as Lomba, Moi Bhoi. This conjunct is formed by combining Mo with Bho. The Mo changes the shape slightly to create the conjunct Moi Bhoi. For example, Arambho means beginning. The nasal Mo transitions into the aspirated Bho, producing an mb sound. For instance, Arambho is pronounced as A-rom-bho. Now we will discuss those clusters which retain their shape after forming the conjuncts. The first cluster we have here is Poi Poi. This conjunct is formed when Po is attached with itself and also maintain its original structure. In words, we can get Toppa, which is a genre of classical music. It is pronounced as Top Pa and spelled as To Poi Poi Akar, Toppa. Another cluster in this class we have is boy boy. Here, Bangla letter Borgio bo is attached with itself, maintaining its shape in the conjunct form. In words, we can get nobboi, which is 90 in English. It is pronounced as nobboi and spelled as dontan no, boy boy, roshoi, nobboi. We shall now discuss those clusters which are made up of ontostho borno, such are untostho jo, ro, lo, ontostho bo. Here we will discuss those clusters which let their constituents retain their shapes. One such cluster is formed when lo is combined with itself. For example, pollob, which means leaf in English. Pollob spelled as po, loi loi, bo. Pollob is pronounced as pol lob. Another consonant cluster is loi ontostho boy. It is called loi ontostho boy or loi bofola. Constituents of these clusters retain their respective shapes. For example, billo, which means wood apple. It is pronounced as bil lo and spelled as boy roshrikar loi bofola billo. The clusters which are formed out of ontostho jo, ro, lo, ontostho bo sometimes contain their consonants in their derived forms. Since these are already explained earlier, we will only list them here for your reference purposes. For example, ontostho jo combines with ontostho jo in shojja, which means bed. Talobosho combines with ontostho jo in obosho, which means sure. Lo combines with ontostho jo in shollo, which means surgery. Wonderful. Keep on practicing these letters for perfection. See you in the next class.